Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
The next time I see my parents, I hope it's when one of them's dying.
He's out of their house.
Your plan is to be a model. How'd the GoFundMe page work?
I didn't raise any money.
Now he wants them out of his life.
I want the world to know the abuse that they've put me through.
What kind of abuse?
Well, I don't know, maybe the dozens of times you choked me with a cord in the bathtub.
You are straight up lying.
I never choked you in the bathtub.
You did the abuse.
Oh, did
You
I?
threw microwaves at me.
I pushed the microwave off the counter
That
hundreds
never
of times
happened.
after that.
No.
That's exactly
No.
what
Whoa. Somebody tell me the truth.
Whenever they get into a disagreement, it instantly turns into a screaming match.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, today's show is going to leave you scratching your head and wondering who's telling the truth and who's not. Stephen is an aspiring model who claims his parents have physically, mentally, and verbally abused him since he was a child. He said he vividly remembers his father, Steve, choking him repeatedly with his bare hands and wrapping a cord around his neck, as well as threatening to beat him with a belt and slamming his body into the bathtub, all while his mother, Christine, stood by and just watched. But Steve and Christine say, Stephen, well, they say he's just a liar. In fact, they say they're the ones who have had to call the cops on Stephen 7 times. Once because he threw a microwave at his mother's head, and another because they say Stephen went ballistic and had to be checked into a mental institution. Stephen says he hates his parents and wishes they would get out of his life forever. Take a look.
The relationship that I've had with my parents is awful. My mom is crazy, psycho, she's over the top. My dad's violent, uneducated, he's ignorant. When I was 5, I can remember being shoved into the corner of a closet. My dad had his belt, he was about to beat the living daylights out of me, and then my mom burst in the room. I remember that vividly. When I was 16, I was outside with my dad. He took me to the ground and started choking me, and I couldn't breathe. My mother watched every second and didn't do a damn thing. Another time, I was standing in the bathroom arguing with my father, and it spiraled out of control. My dad just grabbed me by the neck, started choking me to the point where I couldn't breathe. My eyes started to roll into the back of my head, and it was probably one of the worst things they've ever done to me. The police have probably been called on me at least a dozen times. My dad called me a pussy, told me to shut my mouth. My parents both told me that I was an accident. They would always call me a spoiled, rotten little kid. I moved out when I was 17 years old, and I've been paying every bill since then. Why would I kick the people out of my life that are supposedly spoiling me so much? One of the main reasons I moved out of was the way that they treated my girlfriend, Melissa. They said she's rude and bitchy. My mom has never liked any of my girlfriends. I've had people walk out of my life because they couldn't handle the intensity of my mother. I want my parents to be out of my life. As heartless as it sounds, the next time I see my parents, I hope it's when one of them's dying and I have to.
Well, Christine and Steve deny ever abusing their son, and they say they have a sneaking suspicion his manipulative girlfriend, Melissa, is behind these false allegations.
He's lying about all the abuse that happened. He wasn't even spanked as a child. Once my son started dating Melissa, his attitude got even worse.
Stephen's had his way all his life, and he's not prepared to hear the word no. And when he does, he explodes.
At 15, he went on a complete rampage and started calling me vulgar names and throwing things all over the house, and he picked a microwave up and threw it at me. I had no idea the temper tantrums that were about to come. He was raging in the house, and my husband Steve went outside with him, and all I saw was my son pick up his fist.
So I spun him around, threw him on the ground, and held him on the ground by his neck. I even went as far as to raise my fist, realized it's my son, let go of him, and I stood back up. That is the absolute only time that I've ever put my hand on my son.
Stephen, he's a second-degree black belt. He is the one who physically, emotionally, and mentally abused me. My son's called me this word, a moron, stupid. He wishes I would just die. Melissa's very manipulative, controlling, and insecure. She's driven a wedge between his family and all of his friends.
Instead of saying you should work this out with your parents, she'd say you don't need them in your life. You have me. You have my family.
She is actually manipulating the manipulator. If Melissa wasn't in the picture, we would actually have a better opportunity to mend our family.
Okay, now, you guys have not spoken since June, right?
No.
And you say you just want to be done with them.
I do. I want them to leave me alone. I want the world to know the abuse that they've put me through my entire life and that I'm not this spoiled, rotten little brat that they want to make me out to be.
Okay.
And I want them to stop harassing me and my girlfriend. My girlfriend hasn't done a damn thing to you guys. Except love your son.
That is so not true.
Okay.
I have the text messages from her. I have a Facebook message.
What kind of abuse are you talking?
Well, I don't know, maybe dozens of times you've choked me with a cord in the bathtub.
You are straight up lying.
There's only
That
been
never happened. We never abused you. You were never abused.
Oh.
You abused me.
Oh, did
you
I?
threw microwaves at me. You
I
intimidated
pushed the
me.
microwave off the counter.
You threw it at me, and you know full well you
If
did.
you've seen pictures of me when I was 12 years old, none of these people would believe that.
Okay, you're a second-degree black belt. And who did the abuse? You did the abuse. I locked myself in my bedroom I don't know how many times. I'm 100 pounds soaking wet. You're a second, almost third-degree black belt.
How many times?
So don't sit here and claim that we abuse you. Your dad has never touched you. He's been an excellent father. He was
He's never
protecting
touched
himself.
you, huh?
No,
Oh,
he
you
has
protect-
not.
Oh, you were protecting yourself. You're going to look me in the eye and say you were protecting yourself.
Yeah,
From your
you-
10-year-old son who was a
10-year-old.
10-year-old?
Oh, were you protecting
You just
yourself
said
when you were
no.
choking me in the closet?
There is no abuse.
There is
Oh,
no-
there's
there
no
is
abuse.
no
There is no
Of course,
choking
you're not
in
going to
a
sit on national TV
There's
and say
no abuse.
No,
abused
you're
me.
the one lying.
There's no
You are the
choking.
one. There was no choking.
There's so
5
many
years
people,
old.
so many
You are the
friends,
black
family
butt-
members,
okay.
adults
All right.
your age, your friends have told me
Okay.
that your mother's a psycho,
Right.
your dad's abusive. I
Right.
can see it.
Why don't you name that people
our
up? Because
family members have
right.
said it.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, sure, right.
This is what my family does. They call the Dr. Phil show before they'd rather
You know
make
what? Because
any
we
amends with me tell me that anything they've done is ever
We've
wrong.
tried.
We've tried.
You sent me a text
whoa,
message
whoa,
that
whoa,
said,
whoa, whoa, whoa. First out, you're going to have to clean your mouth up.
I'm so sorry.
So that ain't going to happen here, okay?
Absolutely.
So you're going to clean your mouth up. And I'm curious, I just let this go on for a minute just to kind of get a glimpse of how you folks problem solve.
Not good.
Was that fairly representative?
Yeah, well, he gets so explosive, we can't have a normal
They get
sit-down
explosive.
conversation
No.
and try to work things out because
They don't like to work things
He
out.
gets explosive.
And how about yourself?
Oh, you're so
I tend to be calm, but he starts to explode.
Lies.
It starts to, it builds
Not a
it builds
single
us
part
up.
of you stays calm, and neither do you.
He every time we try, he starts vulgar language.
Well,
calling
how about you? What was that typical of your?
It was a little overboard, but I'm very upset because he's making accusations that are not true.
That's you guys.
Okay.
No,
You've
they-
attacked me and my girlfriend my whole life.
Is this typical of your
Yes.
interactive style?
Absolutely. We
And the
start
second
arguing.
she
and-
came into your life, you started to skip. You skipped
Skipped
more school
school.
than you went.
You barely graduated. You would leave school and get phone
I?
calls,
That's
and
not
she was
something that
asking
Okay,
you to come
stop. I'm going to take that as a case in point.
Okay.
What is your objective with the statements you just made?
That when she came into his life, he was in high school still, and my opinion is that she should have been pushing him to go to school, and instead she was like not helping him. She was, let's go smoke weed, let's go
They
stay
know
at my
nothing about
house,
my girlfriend.
let's
whoa,
do
whoa,
this.
whoa, whoa! I'm talking to your mother. Does anybody here respect boundaries in any way whatsoever? No. Why do you think he feels the way he does? If it's all made up, why make that particular set of delusions up instead of something else?
I asked him these questions. Why don't you want us in your life? Why do you hate us so much? There's no answer.
No.
We don't get an answer. We're here to find an answer.
Stephen has been diagnosed with some mental disorders.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure that he's got some, mental disorders in there. That's a possibility.
She's dying.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Therefore, you think that he's ill,
I do believe he's ill.
but your reaction to that is let's scream at him.
Yeah, it's not the right.
Does that make sense? We think he's mentally ill, so let's scream at him.
I think he's doing it just to hurt us.
I do.
So you don't think he's mentally ill, you just think he's evil?
Yes.
So you raised an evil child.
I didn't think I did, but for the last 6 months, it's been hell on both of us.
Yeah.
All right, well, Steve admits that he did something inappropriate with his underage son that he seriously regrets. What was it? How does he say Stephen has been using this information to blackmail him for years? And are these two transparent with each other about what's going on as parents? And then I got a whole list of questions for the son. We'll be right back. You're telling me that you have smoked dope with your father 100 times.
Absolutely.
You're so wrong.
Somebody's lying. And later, your plan is to be a model.
Yes, sir.
But you're concerned he's going to get into pornography.
I'm afraid, yes, I am concerned.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Michael Lohan has had a tough time since he came to Tampa Bay.
Michael and Kate have had a toxic relationship.
When Kate's drinking, she's a train wreck.
The Lohans lose custody.
Why were those children taken from both of you?
The exclusive interview.
You're in her face, you're yelling, you're screaming.
There was no domestic violence.
That is domestic violence. Just own it.
Then on Monday, a substitute teacher arrested.
You were intoxicated.
They said I was 3 times over the limit. Total liar.
You were drunk at school that morning. Isn't that right?
That's Monday.
I did make a mistake with my son. He liked to smoke marijuana, and maybe I did too. He wanted me to smoke with him. And he said that I got my own, I'm going to do it with or without you. I broke down, had some drinks, smoked some weed.
My dad would act like we were buddy, let's smoke a joint, let's drink a beer. And then my mom would come around, and then it was, no, can't do this. You're grounded. And then the next day, hey, you want to smoke a doobie?
I did deny doing it to my wife because I knew it wasn't going to go over well.
If my dad says we only smoked weed or drank once, he's completely lying.
Well, Steve admits to drinking and smoking weed with his son when he was just 14 years old. And Stephen kept this secret from Christine because Steve said his son would threaten to tell if he didn't give him exactly what he wanted. Were you blackmailing him?
I can probably admit that there were times...
Oh, come on. Wait a minute. Okay. Let me interrupt you here. At some point, you guys have to really decide you're going to give some honest answers. Now, you said, well, I could probably admit to maybe. I mean, come on. You either blackmailed a guy or you didn't.
Yes, when I was younger, I did use it against him.
So you blackmailed your father?
I did use it against him.
Yeah. What in the hell goes through a father's mind when he says, here's a good idea. I'm going to imbibe in 2 illegal substances with this minor. Because it's illegal for him to have alcohol or marijuana. And you think, this is good modeling.
Bad situation, bad choices on my part? Yes, absolutely. We went up north to deer camp, gone away from everybody and everything for a few days. He brought the subject up. I told him no. 12 times, maybe 20 times. Then he said, I got my own, I'm going to do it anyway. So, yeah, I did. And then it's never happened again.
That's not true.
It never happened again for...
Dozens of times afterwards.
Until one other time, when you were 19 years old, when we bought the Chrysler, no drinking, just a smoking, and that was it.
Okay, now, somebody tell me the truth. You've either done this dozens of times or you haven't. So you're either telling the truth or you're not.
I'm telling the truth.
So he has smoked dope with you dozens of times.
It was, I would say, at least 100 times.
Okay.
Oh, you're so wrong.
Somebody's lying. You're telling me now, a video record, that you have smoked dope with your father 100 times since deer camp.
Absolutely.
I don't mean 100 specifically, but
yes, sir.
Dozens of times.
Absolutely.
Since deer camp. And you're saying one time after deer camp, you see what I'm saying? Somebody's clearly lying.
Sure.
Don't smoke weed. You can't do that. And then a day later, you smoke weed with me again.
None of that.
Of course, that's how I blackmail.
So you've had to call the police a number of times.
A number of times.
But a lot of the times they would call and simply say, my son's out of control. They
Were
wouldn't.
you?
No. I would be angry because of how they were treating me. Not because I was out of control, just some lunatic that's freaking out for no reason. It was due to years of abuse.
I kind of made a list. Age 15, November 1st, 2010, drug overdose. They say you attempted suicide by taking a handful of your mom's allergy meds. True or false?
True.
Age 16, September 9th, 2011, domestic dispute. It just said you did not assault them, but you turned off Christine's computer in an argument over the car and going to the gym. So there was a big argument, yelling, screaming at this point, correct?
Correct.
Why did you call the police?
I was on the computer and I was on my laptop, and he wanted to go to the gym.
And what?
He wanted to go to the gym. He wanted his car back. I said no. He took the computer and smashed it on my arm and tried to break the back of the computer. Then he poured pop on top of my computer.
True. I slammed the computer shut, but I didn't pour pop on it, and I didn't slam it on her arm either.
Yeah, you did.
All right, December 1st, same year, 16, domestic dispute. Stephen locked Christine out of the house and threw the microwave while calling her names.
I did not throw the microwave at my mother, but I did push it off the counter.
We're still age 16, March 2nd. Suicidal domestic dispute. Stephen stabbed holes in the wall, broke a phone, and yelled, "I'm going to kill myself," because you couldn't have the car.
I did say that I wanted to kill myself, but it wasn't because I didn't have the car. It was because 16 years of physical and mental abuse takes a toll on someone.
We're still age 16. This is a few weeks later, domestic dispute. Parents argued with him because Stephen didn't want to live there anymore.
They didn't want me to live there anymore.
No.
It had nothing to do with me not wanting to live there. My parents kicked me out the day I turned 16, because in Michigan, you can kick your son out when he's 16.
No, you didn't.
You kicked me out.
Never kicked you
No,
out.
I have parents and family members I had to stay with. I have my girlfriend who I had to go to her house after you got done choking me in the bathtub because I couldn't be around either of you.
What? You were with her?
That choking in the bathtub, that's a lie, man. I never choked you in the bathtub.
That is so...
One time I put you to the ground when you put your hands on me
time,
outside. You grabbed me in a physical manner. I did what I did to make sure you never did it again.
First of all, that didn't happen. Second of all, you don't think there would be, even if it did happen, you don't think there'd be a better way to deal with
Did you tell the
16-year-old?
police? Did you tell the police you didn't want to live there anymore? Because the police report says you told the police that you're the one that wanted to leave.
I did want to leave at that point.
Well, you're saying they kicked you out, but you told the police in the police report that you wanted to leave, that you had several issues with your parents, and you wanted to leave.
At that point, I was done, and I did want to leave.
Well, his parents say Stephen's girlfriend, Melissa, is a manipulative, controlling, insecure little girl who's causing big problems for their family. So we'll meet her next.
Stephen's mom wants to just blame me for all of the family issues that they have. How do you explain the first 17 years of his life? You were the one who decided to mistreat him and abuse him. How dare you try to blame me? I support Stephen's decision to cut ties with his parents.
Stephen's girlfriend, Melissa, says she's witnessed his parents verbally and mentally abuse him. But Christine and Steve say Melissa is just as manipulative and mentally ill as their son.
In the beginning of my relationship with Stephen, I tried to give his parents the benefit of the doubt. As I began to hang out with him more and be around his family, I could see the way that they constantly disrespected him and insulted him. I instantly lost respect for them. I knew from the get-go that Stephen's parents did not like me. They have said the worst possible things about me, and I honestly don't know why. Stephen's mom called me the third. When I met her, she just thought that I was too quiet for her liking. She also called me a bitch. The fact that his mother called me a gold digger is one of the most absurd things that she could ever say about me. I was the one who was supporting us. She wants to just blame me for all of the family issues that they have. How do you explain the first 17 years of his life when I wasn't around? You were the one who decided to mistreat him and abuse him. How dare you try to blame me? My parents have always been loving and supporting of me, and when they met Stephen, they loved him because I loved him.
You have the best family, actually. Better than my own.
It's like a warm, fuzzy feeling when your mom loves your boyfriend. I support Stephen's decision to cut ties with his parents. What kind of parent can't even keep a relationship with their only child.
Well, thank you for joining us. You say you have seen horrible verbal and mental abuse on the part of these two parents against their son.
I have.
What have you seen them do?
Whenever they get into a disagreement about anything, it instantly turns into a screaming match.
Like we've seen out here?
Yep.
When Stephen was calling you names and disrespecting you, who was
I have
there
never
that
done that to
contacted-
my girlfriend.
And who was there that called you and said, "I'm so sorry for the way he's treated you"?
What are you
I
talking
have
about?
text messages. I have all the text messages.
You have never been there for her.
Yeah, I have.
There's never been.
When you first started
Let's let her answer.
I really don't know what she's talking about.
When
He
you
has
know-
never abused me whatsoever. I wouldn't put myself in a situation like that. I know better than that.
Well, you know, I will tell you that he told me when you broke up, you were physically abusive to him.
That's never happened.
Yeah,
oh my God.
He said you punched him in the chest. And he said that he had to call his mom and hurt your mom because you were threatening to throw yourself down your stairs and you punched him in the chest.
What kind of story? How
And
do
then-
you make
and
these
then-
up?
And he said you also stated she was mentally ill and that you can't be with her. Now, I don't know if she hit you because you're abusing. You say we abused you. I don't know if I believe that she's abused you because you're lying about us.
Neither of us know what
And
you're
then-
talking about.
And
Why don't you let her speak?
I don't even really have words because I don't.
So you never had any exchanges
No.
with Christine?
No.
She's making all this up.
Yes, absolutely. I don't even have words.
Did she get upset with you and call you names to your face?
Not to my face, she's never called me a name, no. But Stephen told me about a week after she met me, she called me a.
I don't use that word freely, as you'll notice that he uses that word quite frequently. That's not something that I use.
I absolutely believe that she would say that about me without even giving me the chance, without giving me a chance to get to know me.
Did you post up on Facebook that they sexually abused you?
I did not. I said.
And did the police come and talk to you about that?
They talked to me about how my family and I weren't getting along. And actually, the police officer
But
agreed with me.
Did they come and talk to you about that you need to take down allegations that they
did
sexually
not.
abused you?
They did not.
So you didn't put on Facebook that you'd been sexually abused?
I did not.
He did.
I had said, would you dispute someone that was telling you they were sexually abused? No, because you know nothing about that person's life and their situation. So to say that, for my mom's best friend to say that she knows anything that has went on behind closed doors is just as bad as telling someone that they were raped. No, you weren't raped. I said it's just as bad as that because nobody knows anything that went on between my parents and I except my parents and I, because I kept it between us.
No, you put a lot on social media.
Yeah, you do.
But
Because
you
I've done.
didn't use the word sexual abuse in your post.
I did use that word. And I didn't say it was that they had sexually
Yes,
abused
you
me.
did. You
I
said
did
that
not
we
say
took-
my parents sexually abused me.
Yes, you did. You said we took you in a bathtub at 5 years old and sexually abused you. Then we took you out.
Are you
and we,
serious?
Yeah, yes,
That is
exactly
not what I said.
So anybody that would think that, you're clearing that up right now.
Yeah, of course. You guys didn't sexually abuse me. I was making a reference to how could anyone say that they know anything about anyone's past
Exactly.
when
Thank
I'm
you.
the one.
Thank you.
Unless,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, thank you. That would determine where you're, Melissa. How would she know? Because you're
Because
telling her.
she's been in the basement when you guys came down, yelled at me. You called me a piece of right in front of her.
No,
you guys have done nothing to make her think the opposite of what I'm saying is true.
No, that's not true.
No.
We never did that.
Okay.
And she's lying too. I would love for him to put you both on a lie detector test. 'Cause you fail right now.
Same with you
Yeah.
guys.
You said you moved out and you've been on your own totally since you were 17, hadn't gotten a penny from them.
Yeah.
Hell, I've added up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that they've paid for you.
We were going to move in with his parents just to save money.
My dad showed up at my house unannounced with conditions that I'd have to get rid of my dog Maya, my cat Lewis, and my cat Ramsey. My family consists of Melissa and I and our dog and our 2 cats. I love them. All. Love all of them.
He said, "Don't you tell me I can't bring either one of my cats." And then he stood up, went to his door, and said, "Get the out of my house." He started sending text messages to us. One of them said, why don't I just kill myself? Who says that to their dad?
If they're so horrible, why would you move back in on June 17th of this year? You were going to move back in?
I tried really hard my entire life to continue a relationship with your parents because why wouldn't you?
There have been plenty of times when we've all been on good terms.
But if someone had mentally, physically, and emotionally abused you, why would you go move back in with them?
Exactly.
I don't know what I was thinking either. Maybe we could be on good terms. But instead, they wanted to make it as difficult as possible, and they told me I needed to get rid of my babies, my dog and 2 cats that I'd grown with for the past 2 years. The family I've made.
We wanted to put a few rules on you, and you didn't like rules.
We told me I have to get rid of my animals?
No,
you guys are animal people. You should know that's wrong.
We told you you could bring your dog, but your cats couldn't come.
Oh, but when a couple months ago when she wasn't, or however long ago when she wasn't around, I could bring all my animals. And then the second she comes in, you guys just want to screw me.
But you said you never asked them if she could move in with you.
I never asked them that.
No, you told
You guys went out of your way to tell me that your girlfriend won't even be here. She won't even come to our house.
You said you never asked for her to move in with you, but when we talked to Melissa, she said that you did ask for her to move in with you.
I did not ask for Melissa to move in.
Well, you said that he did ask for you to move in with her.
I thought
What?
I thought the whole plan was for all of us to move in. Me, him, the dog, and the 2 cats, just for like a month or 2 so that we could save money up and move out of the state.
Because I wrote it down, Stephen, you said, I never asked my parents if Melissa could live in their house, but they made it clear she was banned from their house, and so were all my other friends. Melissa said Stephen asked his parents if we could move in with them. We could move in with them. A few weeks before we were going to move in, Stephen's father said that Stephen animals couldn't move in, and neither could I. So you say you never asked if she could move in. She says you did.
It could be a miscommunication, but I had never asked if Melissa could live with me.
You said you moved out and you've been on your own totally since you were 17, hadn't gotten a penny from them.
Yeah.
Well, I actually dug in, and they purchased you 2 cars, groceries, co-signed a loan, put $2,500 down on one of the cars, paid your attorney fees for a drug charge, paid for enrollment in college 3 times out of your college fund, and all since you were 17. You said you didn't take a penny from them. Hell, I've added up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that they've paid for you since you were 17.
They paid for my college classes.
3 times.
But it wasn't 3 times.
Yes, actually it was. All to community colleges, and you dropped out all 3 times. All depleting your college fund, which still has some money in it, but still depleting your college fund to the tune of about $8,500.
They've paid for my classes that I got overwhelmed with and dropped some classes. Yeah, I did. But they did not buy me a car. He co-signed a loan for it, and they did buy me groceries when I had mentioned we didn't have any food. But
so they have helped you. They've bought you cars, co-signed loans, paid your attorney fees, paid your college tuition.
They didn't pay my attorney fees either.
The point is, you told me you hadn't taken a penny from these people since you were 17, and I'm adding up thousands and thousands of dollars you've taken from them since you were 17.
I've used, they have bought classes for me, and they did buy food for me.
And last year, you asked your dad to pay your rent when Melissa didn't have the money to pay the rent.
That's not true either.
You know, I'm pretty good at interviewing people, but I promise you, if I need any help, I'm going to come to you first. I'm trying to make a point with him that he's not seeing the full picture, and neither are you two. Stephen says his parents called his job and told his boss he's working in porn, and stalked his Facebook page and refused to leave him alone. Are they concerned parents, or are they just obsessed with their only child? We'll be right back.
I'm here in LA trying to make it. My parents absolutely don't think that I can do this. My parents don't really think that I can do much of anything, but I'm out here trying to show them that I can make it, and I'm going to be a model.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, Michael and Kate Lohan lose custody.
You're in her face, you're yelling, you're screaming.
There was no domestic violence.
That is domestic violence. Just own it.
That's tomorrow.
I'm very dedicated and motivated to becoming a model, and I have no doubt that I will. I did sign with a couple agencies, and I made the decision to come out to Los Angeles.
I definitely think he has what it takes to be a model. He's always had the good looks. He's always had that charisma. He has enough ambition for a small country.
My parents don't support me whatsoever. My parents actually have been telling people that I'm doing porn. They think I'm just some wannabe model that isn't going to make it.
Now, even though Steven has not raised any money on the funding page that he created to help launch his modeling career, he hasn't let that stop him. Last week, he was in L.A. pounding the pavement and passing out his headshots to modeling agencies. He let us tag along for the ride.
I'm here in LA trying to make it. I put my face in a couple modeling agencies, checked out some restaurants. I'm moving out here in a couple months, so just gotta find a job. I take this modeling thing very serious. I wake up at 5 every day and I go work out. I try to keep up my appearance because you can't be a model if you don't keep up on that stuff. LA is amazing. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. People are awesome. The mountains are beautiful. The palm trees are so cool. It's go, 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 and I love that. It's just booming. There's so much money out here. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Wow, Melrose Avenue. I can't believe I'm here. My parents absolutely don't think that I can do this. My parents don't really think that I can do much of anything, but I'm out here trying to show them that I can make it, and I'm going to be a model and be very successful in life with or without them. I just feel so comfortable when I model. I love it. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to make it here.
Okay, so your plan is to be a model.
Yes, sir.
Do you not support his dreams?
I do support his dreams.
On TV, they do.
No.
If they were supportive, would you want their support?
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you want the support from your parents?
I don't know. You seem to find fault with whatever they do. And you say you get these text messages from them, and you send some pretty
I've sent some things,
brutal text messages yourself.
I have sent some things that I regret.
You sent this text message. Tell your blank wife to stop talking blank on Facebook. You might be too blank to do that. You wrote one, kill yourself. You sent this to your dad. This was just kill yourself. You are more than dead to me. I won't even be at your funeral.
Like I said, I'll be remorseful about that till the day I die. Regardless of what you guys have done to me, that's not okay. And I'm sorry. And I'm more than willing to admit that.
If he wants to be an actor, a model, do you support that?
I support it 1,000%.
But you're concerned he's going to get into pornography.
I'm afraid, yes, I am afraid of the porn. I am afraid because on his FundMe page,
I would be struggling financially if I did. Jeez.
He had a photo of himself that was very inappropriate, but I am concerned. Did
you put a provocative picture on your GoFundMe page?
I put a standard shirtless picture that all models have on my GoFundMe page because a modeling agency wants to see what your body looks like. I didn't put a naked picture on there.
Well, how'd the GoFundMe page work?
I did not raise any money, unfortunately. I'm just not willing to give up my dream because, of facts, I'm just very dedicated to making it.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
I do want to help you here, seriously. I invited Tina Randolph to join us today. Tina is the Director of Talent for Zuri Models and has over 20 years of experience in the modeling industry. She had time to review Steven's headshots and materials before the show today. Tell me, what's your feedback? What's your opinion here? Because this gives you a chance to get some real feedback from a Hollywood heavyweight pro.
Well, first of all, I'm not here to crush your dreams, but let's be realistic with this industry. There are industry standards, and I'd say, first of all, how tall are you?
5'10".
Okay, minimum 5'11" and up. These are sizing things. Second of all, we get about 700 submissions a week, and we sign maybe 5 people. So you really need to have something that's going to just stand out. And modeling may not be necessarily your thing. You may have a career in acting. It takes a lot of dedication.
Absolutely.
And a lot of hard work, and it takes a long time to break in.
When there's an open call, how many people will show up for something?
We'll limit it to the first 1,000.
So 1,000 people will show up.
And then we close the doors.
Yeah, and then you close the doors and there's 1,000 left on the sidewalk.
Yes.
So what do you think about what she's saying?
I mean, I think you're absolutely right, and it does take a lot of dedication, and I agree with everything that you're saying. I'm just not willing to give up my dream because, I mean, of facts. I mean, you're absolutely right. It takes a lot of dedication, and you have to be willing to do a lot of things and make it. And that's why I'm trying to get out here, because I think it is also about what you know and who you know, and I'm just very dedicated to making it. And I know it's going to be hard.
But every restaurant you walk in out here, every waiter is an actor, every ballet is a model, everywhere you go, everybody out here is an actor or a model or a singer or a performer in some way, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're everywhere. And, I mean, it sounds like you're dedicated. So, I mean, go for it. But I'm just telling you, realistically, with the modeling side, you're going to hit it's a height thing.
You know, most models are skinny, but then they also have plus-size models.
They don't have short models.
Are they all 5'11"? They're all 6'3"?
Well, for males, yes. For males, absolutely.
No, I mean the women.
They're 5'7" and up. There's 5'7" and up models. Yeah.
I was just curious. I mean,
what do you got somebody?
No. Yeah, him. I was just asking.
Yeah, it's just industry standard.
Stephen says he doesn't want a relationship with his family, and he believes this situation is not fixable. I'm ready to give my solution to this problem and tell you what I have to say. It just might surprise him. That's coming up. Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. Now, you ask a question, where's this anger coming from? This, to me, is not a hard puzzle. I don't know why, but both of you admit that all during his childhood and early adolescence, you just didn't ever tell this boy no. And then he gets out and he wants to have money and he wants to have cars and he wants to have an education and he wants to have all this. And the real world tells him no. But y'all taught him a whole different value system. You taught him a whole different contingency system. You've taught him to go on red and stop on green, and then pitched him the keys and said, go out there and get them, kid. And he has no coping skills. And sometimes you parent, sometimes you reparent. Now, I am very happy to arrange some family counseling for you because I'm all about family reunification. Will you participate in it?
I really wouldn't like to.
Okay. Then I will certainly arrange counseling for the two of you to figure out what it is that you need to get at peace with about what has transpired here so you can know where things ran off the rails. I tell you, if you say you don't want to engage with them, then that's your choice. I think you're wrong. I think it's immature. I think you will regret that.
They've attacked me and my girlfriend and everyone that I love. And I don't really think that any amount of counseling will permanently fix it.
Being a victim and angry is the weakest you'll ever be in your life. Because what I've done is said, you know what? Let's hit the reset button and start from here with some professionals involved to help heal the wounds that have been created. And you say, nope, I'm good.
You are right. I mean, anger is weakness, and I don't hate you guys. It's hard for me to forget the things that you've done to me and to move past it like everything's fine.
Never abused you, and you know that.
That's, you know you have.
So I will be more than happy to arrange for you to have some individual counseling on your own that will perhaps help you resolve some of that anger and some of those issues and get you in the best possible position to pursue your goals, just you individually on your own.
I have no problem with that.
Maybe that will lead you to a different place. All right, thank you so much. Just come around. Just give them a chance. Listen, thank you very much. All right, thanks, everybody. Tina, thank you so much.